Oh, look at this guy. Look at him.
I have a blanket because I'm cold.
Yeah, I have a jacket on and a beanie because I'm a little chilly today, guys. I am testing out a new audio filter that's happening with OBS, so if there are any audio issues, I appreciate any feedback. But what's going on, guys? Happy Friday. It's another day for Books and Brew.
Thank God it's
Oh, you know what? I think the fact that we put Books and Brew at the end of every week, it just feels so good to do this now. Because work is over for the week.
well,
We have tomorrow to look forward to for episode 11.
You're gonna poke the cat in the face.
It's honestly just a good feeling. Avelina,
I always butcher. Can I just call you Sai so I don't butcher your name? Yeah,
I think it was Saino that I got it right last time.
Dude, people butcher my name on a regular basis, so I just like if you have a nickname, you go.
By the way, Sai, I did what you asked. I even sent some text messages to someone's personal phone number to get some sort of movement going on. In regards to he's a winner.
Oh.
Not the.
You worded that so weirdly.
Well, it's because only me and him will understand what's going on.
Okay.
Anyways, guess what today is, guys? It's the 22nd of January, meaning that it is we're done. The New Year's giveaway that we had today for Arcane Focus, or for this year, for this month to be honest, is over.
For this year.
Yeah, is over.
Only one.
I've gone ahead and emailed the winners. There are 2 winners, so check your emails if you're one of the lucky ones. And I'll go ahead and announce the names tomorrow if they reach out to me quick enough. Yeah. If they don't reach out to me, I would say by maybe next week, I'm going to go ahead and choose another winner by default. So that's how this is working.
Oh, I know.
I'm really excited.
Gotta check those emails.
And guess what? Not only that, we're coming to a lot of ends here. We're about to finish Tasha's. All the subclasses.
The subclasses, not everything in
Not everything else. Well, the thing is, I like to do is I like to go over what's it called?
Xanathars?
I can't think of Xanathar. Thank you. Their subclasses.
I think how the DM doesn't know.
I want to cover all of the subclasses first, and then I'll start getting into the nitty-gritty stuff. Because, for one, I don't want to get too much into monsters.
I'm trying to cover a brand if you're wondering what the hell I'm doing. This is a giant ass lemonade.
I don't want to cover monsters because if I ever talk to you guys about monsters, obviously I don't want to spoil anything.
Yeah, but like that just means your players can't metagame. Like there's stuff that we've been introduced to in Nick's campaign that I'm well aware of, but like,
Oh, we did want to cover races. So maybe we'll cover races after we cover some of these subclasses.
I forget that channel you watch where it's 2 guys and they go over
Dungeon Cast.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan. By the way, if this ever reaches Dungeon Cast, Will and Brian, I think you guys are amazing. You're really informative and entertaining. So I appreciate you helping both of us out. When
you
it comes
guys
to
also have
section.
like voices for radio.
Yeah.
I mean, not like I didn't say faces. I said voices because it's like it doesn't make you fall asleep.
Oh.
But it's like also calming.
I'm gonna do something real quick. One thing I forgot to put in because I was resetting some of the filters here.
I feel like it's a good thing to like. I mean, some of their videos are a little longer depending on how much detail they want to dive into. I shouldn't say drive. But I feel like it's a good summary, even if like you're just listening to it in the background and you're like, oh, hey buddy, you're on the course. There we go.
Nice.
Oh, sorry. But yeah, that's how in one of our previous campaigns, or basically our practice campaign before Arcane Focus, like that's how I chose a Triton. But I played her not the way they portrayed Titans.
The reason
Tritons can talk.
Yeah. Dungeon Casts, when they talk about a monster, a class, a race, they usually go into the history, not just like D&D history, but also real world history. I think the most latest episode they did was on the Basilisk, and how there are so many different actual versions of a basilisk. it's not just a snake. You know, I know we've all seen Harry Potter and he fights a basilisk.
Yeah, I was like
Yeah,
Harry Potter.
and that is something that we're all, because it's Hollywood, it's something popular, it's the first
something-
introduction to a basilisk we've ever been into.
It's something you can grab for a visual, like you're like, oh, Harry
Yeah.
Potter.
No, it makes sense, and that's not a bad thing. Basilisks in folklore,
That guy loves you.
they have been described as like very reptile-ish, but it's not always been a snake. It's also maybe an iguana. Maybe you have something like a bearded dragon. So it's never really defined, but people like to think of it as a snake because snakes are pretty evil in people's mindset when it comes to the historical value. Are you okay, buddy?
He was trying to sit on. He's trying to find a spot.
You could sit in the middle of us, man. So let's get into some subclasses. Let's cover something that we haven't covered yet here. I've been sort of spacing out artificers lately.
You really like that subclass, though.
I do like artificers, I like the class.
Well, yeah, but
like the
I mean,
class
like
in
you just like the. I don't know. I'm not. I like to watch them and I like to see other people play them, but I just don't picture myself ever creating one for me to play because it's just. I don't see.
So a little reminder for those who don't know what an artificer is. Artificer is one of the newest class here in D&D. It was actually introduced in the Rise of Eberron book, but it was also re-released here on Tasha's. So you don't have to buy 2 books.
Wasn't it like not official then, and it's official now?
It was, it was definitely official when Eberron came out, but it was one of the classes that has been in like Unearthed Arcana, like testing, for the longest time. I think it had like 3 revisions, and then they released it onto a book, and then they re-released it here. So it's had a lot of it's gone through a lot of process. Well, just a quick reminder for those who don't know what an artificer is that they are magical artisans. They are crafters, tinkers, people who create magical items for their use just by their own implementation and infusion of magic.
Is it bad that when you said artisan, I thought of them fancy crackers?
The funny thing is, I was thinking about it. An artisan could definitely be a chef.
Yeah, I mean,
definitely
it's like a fake word though, because I mean, not like in what it does, but like when they use it to describe a thing and not a person.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's not like artisan of their craft. It's like this artisan cracker can't talk today. It's been a long week, but I'm just like, you're not using that right.
Well, the funny thing about it is that I think the problem is not that. I think it's just the way that society's been using the word artisan, because now we consider Subway,
like it's a thing.
creators as an artist, Subway artist or a sub artist. It's been dwindled down to something that no longer resonates in us as something like,
It's just like, oh, we put that on everything.
Yeah, like, oh, if someone were to call you an artisan, it's like,
hey, those sandwiches are mysteries. Back when I used to eat Subway, I always felt bad. I always felt bad for them.
Remember when we ordered a pizza at Subway?
We ordered a pizza.
We ordered
at
a pizza at Subway. We went to the beach one day and we ordered a pizza.
No, I think we ordered 2 different meals.
Oh, then I ordered a pizza.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never had I don't think Subway has pizza.
They do. See? Subway pizzas are good.
Yeah, I don't remember ever eating one.
Well, there's a subclass here in the Artificer book that we haven't covered yet, and that is the Alchemist. And this one, very much so, I think of an old woman using like crushed leaves and the slime of slug and slicing off maybe a bit of a bat's wing and putting it into a jug and sort of mixing them up, heating it up. Or, like we were discussing again, maybe you're a chef who starts using spices and sauces and infusing a bit of magic to it, because that is your craft, that is your piece of art, and that art now resonates with some sort of magic in it.
Yeah, you could like flavor. Sorry, I just thought of something because I'm looking at your computer. I'm like, hey, a PC builder's an artisan. And
That's what. Well, the funny thing is, when we first started playing games with Roby Tech,
with you.
with Justin Roby, I told him, I was like, if you were ever a class of a character, like you as a person, you're an artificer, you're a tinkerer, you're someone who, starts to move around.
Oh no.
Roby!
He heard us.
Oh my god, we're getting the Roby raid!
That man like heard his name and was like, what?
We were
Hold
just
on.
talking about it.
Let
This
me.
is so weird.
Oh my god.
What is going on, guys?
Oh, thank you
so
for the
much
subs. Thank you for the raid.
for the
I'm only
subs,
like
for the
this,
raid.
not because I'm mad, but because it's freaking cold up in here, even with the lights. Thank
All
you, Roby.
Thank you, Roby. Roby, actually, let me go and discuss a little bit of what I was talking about you. I was actually talking about you right now. I mentioned this
Hi,
before.
Blondie.
Hey, Blondie! So, what I was mentioning before is that, Roby, if you're watching, you very much remind me of an artificer. And a reminder
Hey,
to those who
he
just...
was a really good, no offense, he was a really good bard. Like, nobody
You're a
wanted
really
to
good bard. Let's not lie.
If one of us had to sing, it was gonna be Roby.
Roby is an amazing bard, I am not gonna lie, but Roby, I was discussing this before, you in my mind are a perfect artificer.
Thank you for the follow, J Money.
Mainly because you are someone who works with pieces of tech and PC. You put things together,
good
you are a
camera.
tinkerer. You are someone who creates art.
Goldkins, I think I butchered that. Ravenwing, Filth Pigs, Gluffy. Thank you, Nami, for the follows.
Thank you so much,
If I
guys.
butcher your name, I apologize. Happens to me on the daily, so I can relate.
Yeah, I see him very much as an artificer, someone who takes pieces of
I'm also trying to
like-
focus on the chat and the follow.
but I sing like an angel. He does. He'd be like a bard artificer. He would be someone who is very much. Actually, that fits you very well.
Well, that's why I said I was like when you picked bard and you actually sang, I was like, oh no, he's a bard.
I just thought of it right now. The reason why is because not only are you a craftsman, someone who creates pieces of art and uses whatever raw materials to create something magical, you're also an entertainer. You're also someone who is in front of the limelight, who is not afraid. I am a 20-year DM. Happy to see a D&D streamer.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much. I am 3 years into DMing.
You're 3 years into DMing. We've been playing for
a bartificer. Oh, that's so
while.
good. If I'm going to, just for a moment before we get into the alchemist, we're actually about to talk about the alchemist subclass for an artificer. If I was going to choose 2 subclasses for Roby, it definitely would be an artificer. I think he would be a battlesmith. Mainly because battlesmiths, they get themselves a little robotic friend. Maybe his little robotic
You could
friend.
have an RGB robotic friend.
He can have an RGB, a little RGB steel defender. And then when it comes to the bard, I honestly think you would probably be a glamour bard. Someone who relishes in the limelight, who can use his...
Thank you for the bits.
Thank you so much, guys, for the follows, for the bits. I know when it comes to these raids, we can't really name them all at once, but I am happy that your name is being shown below.
Yeah.
We will start naming names when we can. So sorry.
Yeah, we appreciate the love from Roby and from everybody following him and following us. I may butcher your name. I try to like catch you guys in chunks when I see it, but I'm also an old yenta, what I call an old yenta because I can't see that far. So, my apologies if I miss anybody.
A Chilizard, a cleric wizard.
Interesting.
Really? So that means I'm thinking the best option for that would probably be a knowledge cleric.
That's the guys that you were like, oh, those are the ones that say no to everything.
Well, no, that is a clockwork sorcerer.
Oh, okay, clockwork.
I'll be joining a new campaign with my old roommate tomorrow. We're gonna have a zero session, session 0. And I'm gonna be an artificer. Any recommendations? Oh, any race recommendations that you've got? Well,
Depends how you want to play your character. If you want to play stereotypical to race, or you want to go opposite. Mike really likes. We work because I like doing the opposite bend for certain things, and he likes that as a DM, which is weird.
The Fuji69, thank you so much
Thank
for the
you.
sub. Well, my recommendation to you is that there are a lot of races or sub-races that give you bonuses to intelligence. When you are an artificer, your main goal is to up your intelligence, mainly because a lot of your subclass abilities tie into your intelligence score. I would recommend either a Fire Genasi, because they give you a +1 to intelligence and a +2 to constitution.
That's why I made her a monk.
There is also a gnome. Gnomes, I believe there's a hill gnome, I believe it is. or forest gnome or rock gnome. I forgot which one, unfortunately.
There's lots of gnomes.
They have a tinkering ability, which also plays into your artificer nature. I believe there's a subclass of tiefling that also not only gets a +2 to charisma, but a +1 to wisdom, or sorry, intelligence. So you definitely want to, maybe if you want to sort of like mid-max, you definitely want to try to aim for a race that gives you a bonus to intelligence. But I like playing a little against the nature, and you know this as well. I generally like to pick classes that are not really known for being smart. So maybe you're a Goliath artificer who's like a mechanic who's always covered in grime and grease with a giant wrench who's like always working on something. You know, something that is really interesting.
Yeah, that could be your weapon.
Yeah.
Giant ass wrench.
You can have a giant wrench, and you can have your battlesmith buddy who you're always constantly tinkering and working on, type of thing. A Monk of the Shadow Paladin, or Mark of the Shadow Paladin, a Paladin Warlock. Yeah, that's an interesting situation there. I'm gonna go for my workout. Oh, well, thank you so much. I appreciate all the love here, really much. We both do. We do have session 11 of our main campaign tomorrow at 2:30. 2 o'clock.
I watch Critical Role. We both watch Critical Role, so that's why I get that reference.
Oh, yeah. Okay, hate to raid and roll. No worries, Blondie. I know you guys had a long stream.
Yeah.
Hopefully that you're...
Yeah, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Yeah, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Hopefully you guys had a really great stream with Roby. I know he's probably creating some really artisan-like PCs.
Thank you, Roby. Thank you, Lonnie Bagigi, and thank you for everybody that rated us, followed us, shared bits, any type of love. We all appreciate.
Yeah,
everything you can give us.
It's one of those few things
It's
that I can't get enough, and I really appreciate it. I am so lucky to know Roby, and the fact that he's rating us. I greatly appreciate it.
Oh, sigh. I think your game isn't a module because you make your own maps, right?
My game is 100% homebrew. Yeah.
We use Astral. We're actually going to be doing a one-shot with Astral
next week.
Is it next week already?
I think it's 2 weeks.
No, it's 2 weeks. February. I was like, what?
So, yeah, we have
February
a one-shot.
7th. We'll be having a one-shot with Astral, or the founder of Astral.
The founder of Astral, Tom.
So that'll be an interesting thing to see.
Balopon, thank you so much.
See how he plays, and then we have Jeff also, who's not part of our regular session.
He's a long time
but he's
guest.
been with our other one shots with Roby too. So
a good friend and someone who's been on who's been a player for a while now, and I can't wait to have him. So yeah, we do have a one shot coming up that is called Dinner, Dryads, and Dice. It is going to be a cooking theme one shot, and I'm excited to DM that for you guys and share that little story.
I just thought of somebody that's like always eating ingredients. There's going to be somebody.
Yeah.
That was me as a child.
Let's get into something a little interesting here about the alchemist. So we already talked about what an alchemist is kind of. Maybe he's a cook. We talked about maybe he uses sauces and spices. Ever considered doing the Rick and Morty campaign? I've thought about it, though.
I've heard good things, but I haven't reviewed it.
I need to take a moment to sit down and read maybe a little bit of the rules if there's any changes.
Just did a horrible face on camera. Sorry.
I am not grasping at the vine to start playing that, but it's not out of the cards.
I think Mike likes to have the madness take over because we do have a TikTok, guys. It's just I'm old and I don't understand TikTok.
I don't understand TikTok.
So I'm working on it. But like I want to film him just typing away. Like you can't talk to him. Like no. I know when he's thinking because he just looks like, I don't know, fucking somebody hit him with a coma wand. And he's just like, and I'm like, are you okay? Are you upset? And he's like, eh. And I think somebody else seen you do that too. And I was like, oh, he's just doing a thing.
My favorite thing when I start to get into the zone when I'm writing is I will have like a stress ball, or we have like a Super Bowl somewhere around here.
He's thrown it a couple of times, so I don't know where it is.
And do this. Just stare up into the ceiling And I think everyone else kind of does that when you're deep in thought. Just look at a wall.
Yeah,
and
he
let
just.
your mind go.
I just walk back out of the room.
So let's talk a little bit about the alchemist. Okay. Let's read Tasha. What does Tasha
Oh
have
yeah,
to say about it?
Tasha's note.
A magic of both alchemists and witches. The magic of both alchemists and witches relies on powerful multi-transversal truths. Powerful multi-transversal truth. Mortals can't resist anything with bubbles. I don't know.
Bubbles. Yeah, we can't. We can't. No. There's bubble wrap. There's bubbles in general. Not in this realm, but.
So when it comes to any artificer, you get to choose your you get to choose your subclass at level 3. So at 3rd level, you get a few abilities. First thing you get is a tool proficiency. If you gain proficiency with the alchemist supplies, which is obviously, you're an alchemist, you should have proficiency with it.
I think Evelina found a friend. I'm lost. I just read your guys' chat sometimes and he talks about stuff.
That's fine. You also get specific spells when you choose the alchemist. At 3rd level, you get Healing Word and Ray of Sickness. At 5th level, you get Flaming Sphere.
Are those as opposite as I think they are? Healing Word and Ray of Sickness?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, okay.
Well, think of it like if you were drinking a potion, it's kind of like you can either drink like a semi-healing potion,
Well, I
or you
mean,
can
like,
drink a poison.
Clerics have inflict wounds and all the other healing spells, but I'm just,
That's
it's funny because you read them in order and I was like, wait a minute.
There is Acid Arrow at 5th level. At 9th level, you get Gaseous Form and Mass Healing Word. At 13th level, you get Blight and Death Ward. And at 17th level, you get Cloud Kill and Raise Dead.
That's a while before you get Blight.
You just have to perform that taboo alchemy, and then blammo, whatever you want. I think that is a reference to an anime that I think it's like something alchemist. I can't think.
You mean Mike's a ranter? I don't think Mike's a ranter. It's just when he thinks it's all in his head.
No, I'm a ranter. No, you got it right, Chris. But there's some really cool things that an alchemist does. Actually, when it comes to artificers, alchemists are my favorite. 100%. And there's a reason. At 3rd level, you get a thing called the Experimental Elixir.
Bye.
Bye!
The transition from talking to...
Yeah. So the Experimental Elixir is really, really fun. And this is why. After you finish a long rest, you roll a d6. Whatever your die rolled on, it creates one of these experimental elixirs.
I think that's Aaron. I don't know. Aaron changes his name a lot.
My favorite line from Tasha's book is one about the aberrant sorcerer origins options. You're exposed to the far realm's warping influence. You are conceived a tentacle is growing out of you, but no one else can see it. Oh, I gotta get rid of that New Year's thing. Sorry guys, that actually New Year's thing ended today. But there are the winners shown.
Is that for the sorcerer I was looking at?
So I have a thing about the aberrant sorcerer. That's the one I hated. I actually don't like it. And I'll get to that in a second. Let me finish.
Mike's like, for the love of God, let me finish this quiz.
So you roll a d6 in the morning, right? If you roll a 1, you get healing. The drinker, when you drink this experimental elixir, the drinker regains a number of hit points equal to 2d4 plus your intelligence modifier. Basically, you get a health potion.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like a healing potion.
It could be better if your intelligence modifier is more.
Yeah, if you're dumb, well then.
Exactly.
That's it.
If you roll a 2, you get a potion of swiftness. The drinker's walking speed increases by 10 feet for an hour. If you roll a 3, you get resistance. The drinker gets a bonus +1 AC to their, a +1 to their AC for 10 minutes.
Thank you for the follows, Corp and Desai. Apologies.
Thank you so much,
for my
okay.
English. But thank you.
If you rolled a 4, you get boldness. The drinker can roll a d4 and add that number to every attack and saving throw for the next minute.
Oh, it's like Bless,
It's kind of like
but it's boldness.
if you rolled a 5, you get flight. The drinker gains a flying speed of 10 feet.
Sorry, I got distracted. That's a very good way to do steps,
And yeah, this is... Oh, wait, what are you saying?
Because he said, have you ever rolled a d20 for a normal everyday step?
Don't test us now. That's gonna probably be...
Don't do it, because you're like, do I really want to do this? If I get above this DC, I'll do it.
Yeah.
What if you roll low?
That's gonna ruin our entire lives, because we're gonna end up doing that now.
It's like, I don't want to do that. I rolled low enough.
Roll with disadvantage. Will there be scenarios where you have to roll with disadvantage?
I imagine you would come up with some.
Yeah. And if you roll a 6, you get transformation. The drinker's body transforms as if it was an alter self spell. And it's for 10 minutes.
Pull a Sheldon and do a week of only what the dice says.
Ooh, that's not a bad idea.
I imagine it's gonna be really far on the spectrum. Like, it's like you're gonna do some weird shit that you probably felt you were uncomfortable doing, that the die made you do, and then there's gonna be some shit you probably should have done that was really important, that the die was like, nah, you didn't roll high
That's
enough.
really funny. Imagine you're like, I'm sorry, the die is spoken. I can't. I rolled an natural 20 for myself.
Yeah.
I'm staying home.
Die said no.
Die said no. So yes, it's cool that you get yourself an experimental elixir free once per day.
I was gonna ask, is it once per day? Is it like
Once per day. But
do you have to make it? You have to have materials to make it, or you just get it?
no, you just get it. Apparently,
okay.
you can use your alchemist supplies
Kit.
and just start to make it.
Oh.
But the really cool thing about this is that, let's say it's again random. You have to roll a d6. Let's say you go, well, I really want to have a health potion just in case. You can spend a spell slot to select which one you want to make for the second elixir.
Oh, you get 2?
Well, you can spend a spell slot to make a new one.
And
And when you do spend a spell slot, you can choose instead of having to roll. So essentially,
That's cool.
what you can do is you can, if you
it's like a hack.
Yeah, exactly. You can roll a d20. I mean, you can spend a spell slot. Go, I want a healing potion. You create one and you give it to your ranger friend, and you go, keep it for 24 hours.
Does it matter the level of spell slot?
No, so long
you
as it's
could
one
just-
level or higher.
Oh, okay. So you could just spend like a first level.
Exactly.
I was like, that would suck. Yeah, spend like a really high level to get a health potion.
Yeah. And let's see here. At 5th level, you get Alchemical Savant. You developed masterful command of magical chemicals, enhancing the healing and damage you create through them. Whenever you cast a spell using your alchemist supplies as a spellcasting focus, you gain a bonus to one of the rolls, or to that roll. So if you heal someone, not only do you heal them for whatever magic you did, but you also get a bonus to your intelligence, like whatever your intelligence modifier is. Let's say it's a 4, you get a 2d4 plus 2
Plus 4.
plus 4.
As I said, it better not be dumb.
It could be really good. Or if you do a damaging spell that does acid, fire, necrotic, or poison, you also add your intelligence modifier to the damage.
I imagine though, if you're playing this subclass, but you're not dumb,
You'd have to be smart.
unless you like to punish yourself.
Well,
No.
it's not that you're punishing yourself, it's just that you're not really
Helping yourself.
using your abilities correctly.
Yeah.
Later, Chris.
Bye, Chris.
Really appreciate you guys jumping in. Really do.
Teach the baby to roll D&D dice. Don't let him eat it though.
Oh, so at 9th level, you get restorative regenerates. Reagents. Sorry, reagents. Whenever a creature drinks an experimental elixir you've created, the creature gains a temporary hit point of 2d6 plus your intelligence modifier. So once again, the whole reason of upping your intelligence as an artificer is because you get these really good bonuses. You want to have that. So it doesn't even matter what you drink in your experimental elixir. If you drink it, you get 2d6 plus your intelligence modifier of temporary hit points. This is why it's my favorite.
You're very much like a support though.
Absolutely.
I mean, not that you can't deal damage, but I mean, like, a lot of that seems like it's support.
When you cast Lesser Restoration, this is still part of the restorative reagents. When you cast Lesser Restoration without expending, you can cast less restoration without expending a spell slot.
Oh, that's cool.
Or preparing it. You don't even have to have it prepared.
That's like a clutch.
If I were to make an artificer, I would want to be Victor from Critical Role. Oh my god, that is a callback. He was either a gnome, he was a shorter creature, either a gnome or a halfling, who was always talking like this. He had a lot of the black powder type of thing.
I was thinking of Beth's husband.
No, he was the one that...
no, I know his name's not Victor, but I can't think of what Victor is.
No, this is from campaign 1.
Yeah, for Vox Machina, but...
Wait.
Is it?
Wait a minute. Am I getting it? Are you right?
No, Beth's husband isn't named Victor. I don't think. I can't remember. We just fucking watched this, and I watch it every week.
Isn't
and
it start
sometimes
with
twice.
Y? I think his name starts with Y.
It's been a long week. I just watched it. Yeah. Blah.
Learn from my mistakes. It is from campaign 1. It's that guy, the one who does black powder.
Okay.
Yes. That would be interesting because you could definitely be an alchemist in that way.
See, but now this is gonna bother me now. What's his name?
Oh god. Well, let's carry on. I'm almost done. At 15th level, you get chemical mastery. You've been exposed to so many chemicals that they pose little risk to you, and you can use them quickly to quickly end certain ailments. You can you gain resistance to acid damage and poison damage, and you're immune to the poison condition. In addition to that, you can cast greater restoration and heal without spending a spell slot, without even preparing the spell, and without the need of material components.
There we go. Yeza.
Yeza.
I was like, come on, man.
So did you hear what this is? No, you didn't.
No, that was bothering me. I heard the poison resistance.
You can cast greater restoration for free.
Yeah, without using
and
a
you
spell
can
slot,
cast
without it being
heal.
prepared. Oh.
There, I knew it was gonna hit you with heal. Because she plays a druid who casts heal most of the time.
I don't cast it most of the time. I just use it on our very irresponsible rogue a lot.
But think about that, is that, so if you don't know, heal is a spell that heals a character for 70 hit points.
It's a fucking
That's it.
level spell.
There's no rolling, you just 70 hit points up.
Yeah, but I think certain afflictions are removed as well.
It removes inflictions, conditions.
Yeah, our rogue got hit with, I forgot what, but she was dumb. And she had her hit points lowered to almost none. So, yeah.
Let's bring out a character. Let's do that.
Mike's still trying to finish one subclass and two.
I'm done.
You guys have watched this though. If you guys are familiar with this Books and Brew, like, it takes us an hour or two just to get through like 3.
Yeah.
And by the time we introduced the character, I stopped interjecting, I stopped reading your comments, vice versa. Like, that's half the fun though. Mike should know this by now.
It's true. I've come to live with it.
He's a glutton for punishment.
Let's talk about a Psi Warrior. You know what a Psi Warrior is?
I just think of cyborg, which is bad. You can correct me. Or somebody like in the Matrix.
What do you think about the
Artillerist?
Artillerist? I've covered the Artillerist in a past stream. One of the first characters I made in our first campaign was an Artillerist.
Was that Janky?
That was Janky. I absolutely love the subclass. I like the fact that you can infuse a damaging spell onto a wand, which I think is really, really cool.
This cat bit me.
It definitely gives you a lot of role-playing options. I still think that the Alchemist is my favorite out of them all. Ironically enough, I don't like the Armorer when it comes to Artificer. They're not my favorite.
Oh.
Let's talk about the Psi Warrior, and let's talk about, I believe, there you are. Everyone, I'd like you to meet. Give me a second, I have the name here. Milo Goodchild. Milo is a halfling. He is a fighter, which is the class that we're talking about, and the subclass is a Psi Warrior. The art itself is done by username Roftiel.
Yeah.
Raphael?
I don't know.
You
But
can
that
find,
person.
that is the username. You can find him on Reddit. So here's a little backstory on Milo. Milo grew up in a dense city. Vendors, pop-up shops, artisans, crafters, all of them was his background noise. The sound of loud cries, loud crowds was his white noise. He's used to it. The amount of different people, random assortment of shops and activities, somewhat shaped his personality. He could never really stick to one thing for too long. Some days he acted as a part-time blacksmith. Some days he was part-time guard. And even sometimes he was a salesman. He did it all. Just where the wind took him. You know, business was business. One day, he agreed to be a guard in front of a fortune teller's tent. Let's see here. Donned on whatever armor he can scrounge up, he headed to the establishment and met the old crone who ran the shop. It was filled with crystal balls, tarot cards, and a plethora of random assortment of stuff like bat wings, weird colored potions, and the lot. Lost my place. Oh, there it is. While the owner was busy in the back, he headed inside to peruse. He saw a strange-looking bottle filled to the brim with dry leaves, crushed. Thinking it was potpourri or something like that, he opened it, smelled it, and his eyes went white. He started to get shaky. He started to hear voices. Sweating, freaking out, he exited out of the tent, puffing and going through the crowd, trying to get his way home. He did make it home, luckily, but he collapsed in the entryway as the door closed behind him. He woke up the next morning, feeling groggy, not very well. And though he headed back to the fortune teller's tent to see what was the matter, or what was the cause of it, the tent was gone. But the voices remained.
Mike
Milo.
is getting attacked by a mysterious black flesh that their cat binks.
So that was Milo, and that was a Psy warrior.
Dude, they try to use the date rape drug on his ass.
Well, he did it to himself.
No, I know. But like, rule one, okay, rules for life and in D&D. Don't drink anything, don't eat anything weird, don't smell anything weird. Like, if it's in some weird frickin' person's tent, don't just be like, yeah, let me take a whiff
Ask what
of
it is first.
No, bad idea.
So,
That's all D&D, but and life if you like to play it the hard way. But still.
So the really funny thing is that when it comes to Psy warriors, a lot of what the book recommends you play is either a Githyanki or a Githrai, or
That's a weird name.
or you pick a Kalishtar.
Ooh, the thing I like.
Exactly. Mainly because a lot of the abilities has to deal with mind powers.
That and you already have a voice in your head, so it kind of makes sense.
Exactly.
Maybe that's like what awakens it.
So one thing that you really want to start doing, if I remember correctly, now I will...
What's the note say?
Ah, here it is. When you do choose this fighter subclass, you really want to have your second highest ability to be intelligence. You're going to be a smart fighter, whether that means you're a very strong person, a very constitutional heavy person, or a very dexterous person. Regardless, you want to choose intelligence to be high as well, because they get some abilities. The note that Tasha says is brains over brawn, mind over matter. Why not both?
So you're a beefy nerd.
You're kind of, well, I wouldn't say nerd, but maybe you are. Let's go with that.
Understood.
So, when it comes to fighter subclasses, you get to choose that at third level.
Theo, I think you're just gonna be like a rogue for forever, because like your main objective in D&D is to steal everything. Just saying.
If I had to choose a class for Theo, wouldn't be rogue.
There is something that's
He'd
like.
definitely be a wild sorcerer.
That likes to steal shit.
Because one, he's gotten lucky a few times. You know, you definitely won some giveaways. There was that one point where you're winning like one after the other. That requires a bend of luck. However, when it comes to wild sorcery, anything can happen. From really good to really bad.
Excuse me, I'm old.
So while you can have at times shape the fate to your whim, I think you're a wild sorcerer.
Yeah, you know, you burst into butterflies. You have a turn into a fucking plant. Like, what the?
Yeah. So at 3rd level, you get a thing called psionic power. So what occurs is that you get some psionic energy die, a lot like
like sorcerer points?
no, more like,
Or like,
bardic
Superiority die.
like superiority die, except these upgrade as you start to get better.
Oh.
Um,
I haven't played a fighter class. I know some things, but like,
Yeah.
I haven't. Me? No.
a lot of subclasses work this way, where you get a certain amount of like die, and you can use that for abilities. So I'm gonna actually get rid of Milo here, just so I can talk about the classes here, so we can see you guys.
I can see.
I know, but
Not
just on
very
the chat.
well, but I can see.
So you actually get a few abilities with your psionic powers. You get Protective Field. When you or another creature you can see within 30 feet of you takes damage, you can use your reaction to roll a one of your psionic energy die and lower that hit, that attack on you by that amount. So let's say you're a level 11 fighter.
Well, what kind of? Oh, it's a D8.
So, well, at 5th level, it's a D8. At, hold on. Sorry. At 3rd level, it's a D6.
Mm-hmm.
At 5th level, it's a D8. 11th level, it's a D10.
And 17th is a D12.
D12. So, let's pretend you're an 11th level Psi Warrior fighter,
You should show them the art.
and you get hit. You can lower that amount by whatever you rolled in that D10. So it helps out a little bit. You get Psionic Strike. You can propel your weapon with Psionic Force, so basically it has a little more oomph in there. When you do attack, you get to roll that Psionic die. Oh, my apologies. One thing I forgot to mention. For both Protective Field and Psionic Strike, you roll that Psionic die. Whatever you roll, you also add your Intelligence modifier, and it reduces that amount, but in this case for Psionic Strike, you add that amount to your damage. So that's why you want to be smart. And last but not least, you get telekinetic movement. This one's weird. It is. You can move an object or a creature with your mind.
D&D is weird.
As an action, you can target one loose object that is large or smaller, or one willing creature other than yourself, and you can see that creature, and it's within 30 feet of you. So there's a lot of things here.
We're not from Seattle, but Mike used to work with the streams on Newegg, so that's how we work with him.
Yeah, so I've done some one-shots with Roby. One of the ones I would recommend watching, I think he was a part of, was...
Little Lamb. Wait, no, he wasn't part of Little Lamb.
He was about to be part of Little Lamb.
He was part of Eternity Rail?
Eternity Rail. Go to YouTube, look up Game Crate, that is the channel name, and try to find a thing called Eternity Rail, and he was on that.
Honestly, Theo could probably find it for you and paste the link if he wants to be.
I don't think we allow links, unfortunately.
A deer. I think we do because Temple did that.
She's a mod.
Heroes Feast. Oh.
Yeah. Regardless, I have worked with him in the past and talked to him a few times. He actually joined Newegg Plays, and his son on one episode. They were really cool. Really
I only remember something about bananas.
His son's really interested in bananas at the time. I think it was a joke, like a main thing that I wasn't aware of because I'm old. So there's a few things with this telekinetic movement. Is obviously you can move people within a certain like parameters. They have to be close and you have to see them. Alternatively, if it's a tiny object, you can move it to and from your hand. So there is no like roll or something. Once you use this action, you can't not do so until you spend a energy die.
So hold on. read the small and the large effects again for creatures? Because I was reading chat and not paying attention.
I know. You can move an object that is large or smaller, or one wielding creature. And if they're within 30 feet of you and you can see them, you can move them 30 feet.
Ah, okay. So like face step, kind of.
A little bit, except you have to spend an action to do this.
Yeah. It's an action to use that too, I think. I don't think it's a bonus action.
I just like what the New Egg channels turn into. It's just a sub raffle and a bunch of people begging for free stuff. It's free stuff. I hope we can go back the way it was one day. I don't know what'll happen. I really don't, unfortunately. I've been tasked to look over the stream, but unfortunately I'm not managing it. I wouldn't say. Not in the traditional sense. So I don't have a lot of say what content shows up there, but regardless, I'm happy to do this.
I was gonna say something along the lines of what Avelina said as she took it out of my mouth. It's okay, Arcane Focus can harbor us for forever.
Avelina, you are honestly making my night.
You're great.
You're great. So you have all these abilities. You have all these, telekinetic abilities. When you get to level 7, you get a few more, and you get to choose a few things.
Well, my main thing was like again, end of the week, brain is done now. I was like, can you just really focus and just be like, yeah, I don't like you. Nope.
Oh yeah.
Like if you move them out of the way.
It has to be a willing creature.
Okay.
No.
Unless it's an object.
Then you can move an object.
You can move a smaller
So like,
one.
let's say your friend disarms someone, and it's your turn. You can go, I use my action, and I fucking toss the thing out of the window. And the blade starts to float, and out of the window it goes.
Yeah, I was gonna say, can you use it on somebody, like, what if like somebody's trying to hit you with something? Can you use it on the thing? And like on their weapon?
It has to be a
Or is
loose object, so it can't be in
they
the
can't hold it.
But you do have your protective field, so you can defend yourself a little bit.
What if it's on their belt and you just like hit them in the face with it? Could you do that? Because they're not holding it?
I would, if it's wrapped on their belt, I would say that's not loose.
What if it's big enough just to lift it and hit them in the face while it's still on the belt?
And once again, they're holding onto it.
Dang.
Yeah, it's very finicky. I mean, I would definitely say that if you were a player character who's playing a psionic warrior, or a psi warrior, and you had a rogue friend who cut the belt, and you held action, and you're like, the moment that my rogue friend cuts the belt and it falls from his hip, I'm gonna move it. I would allow that, because at that particular moment, before he's able to grab it, it's loose.
I know, but you just don't want me to Looney Tunes things.
No. So 7th level.
Thank you. This is my favorite chill fireside story time.
You get some abilities. You get, say, a psi-powered leap. As a bonus action, you can propel your body with your mind. You gain a flying speed equal to twice your walking speed until the end of your current turn. Once you take this bonus action, you cannot do so until you take a short rest or a long rest, unless you expend a psionic die, and then you can take it again. So pretty much you can fly, you can Hulk jump.
You know, just when I think I have D&D figured out, I'm just like, that's a lot of math.
Yeah.
That's a lot of remembrance.
The other ability you can choose is telekinetic thrust. When you deal damage with your to a target with your psionic strike, you can force the target to make a strength save. And if it fails, you knock that target prone or move it up to 10 feet in any direction.
So that's about 6 miles per hour.
Well, let's see. A normal walking speed, for D&D, is 30 feet. So this would be 60 feet in, alright, so your whole round is 6 seconds. So that counts as a bonus action and action. So let's say it's half of that. So you move 60 feet in 3 seconds. How fast is that? 60 feet in 3 seconds.
Y'all that like to do math, this is your time to shine. Just saying.
All right. At 10th level, you get Guarded Mind. Your psionic energy flows through you.
Sounded like you said garden mine.
Oh, guarded.
Like
You have
dark.
resistance to psychic damage. Moreover, if you start your turn charmed or frightened, you can expend a psionic energy die and end every effect on yourself subjugating those conditions. It's not bad.
What level do you get that at?
You get that at 10th level.
Oh, hey, don't forget to show them the art.
Oh, I will show you guys the art. What Tasha's here shows as a half-elf Psy Warrior.
Is it half elf or high elf?
Oh, it's a high elf. You're right.
That's how I was trying to read it. I think that looks cool.
It looks a little evil to me.
Yeah. Hey, just because your eyes glow does not mean you're automatically evil. That's why I made Lilith.
So you go about 14 miles per hour, 13.64. Thank you so much for the
I don't know, Google
details on that.
dizzy.
That's pretty fast. You're going as fast as like maybe a car in like barely
A slow car,
slow car.
but still go.
Sorry for my helmet hair, guys. My beanie hair.
Same thing with this. My hair's in a braided bun because I didn't feel like dealing with
I
the
didn't want to do my hair.
afro
and,
that is my hair sometimes. If I ever come on a stream and I look like I fell out of a tree, my apologies, guys. I probably did almost fall out of a tree.
So there are 2 more abilities you get.
Oh, shit.
There's a lot.
Still going.
But when it comes to fighter,
I know, but that was like a whole page.
I know. But when it comes to fighter, you get a lot of things, which is fun.
The fastest recorded human foot speed was recorded between 60 and 80, I can't see, miles, and Bolt's world record, 9.58 seconds, 100 miles, final Berlin, 2009. I don't think that's miles.
He clocked in at 27.8 miles per hour. That is damn fast, man.
Shoveled hair is in. Yeah, no. I mean, maybe for Mike, I have like some weird curly ass hybrid that has like, my hair's fucking thick, which is, I'm grateful for, but then it's curly. So when I take a shower or undo this mess, it's just like, you guys have seen Brave? It's very much like that. So I try not to do that.
How do you say this?
Bulwark?
Bulwark? So there's an ability.
B-U-L-W-A-R-K?
At
Bulwark?
15th level, you get a thing called Bulwark, of course.
It's not a very comfortable word to say.
It is very weird. You can shield yourselves and others using telekinetic force. As a bonus action, you can choose creatures which can include yourself that you can see within 30 feet. And you get to choose up to a number of intelligence, your intelligent modifier.
I'm laughing because they put it in the chat.
Bulwark. It's weird. It's very weird. Each chosen creature you select is protected by half cover for 1 minute. So what does that mean? When you are
I never understand half cover because there's like a lot of loopholes, like what angle you can hit them, if you do have disadvantage, if you don't have disadvantage, and I'm just like, you figure it out.
There is a thing called, there's 3 things. Half cover,
Quarter cover?
3/4 cover,
Oh,
and full cover.
okay, they don't have quarter cover.
Obviously, when you do half cover, that means you are fully covered. Whatever's gonna aim at you is gonna hit whatever's in front of you. Obviously.
Which half of you is covered?
No, this is full. We're talking full.
Oh.
When we talk about 3/4 cover, that is like where mainly it's what they would call when people are leaning over like a lip and just sort of like either doing a crossbow thing. It's just basically like from here up. When they have
Not
that,
the face.
exactly. I think when they do that, they have a +5 to AC.
Oh, so kind of like Shield. Ignore the giveaway thing, guys.
I'll turn
We
it off
forgot
by
to
the-
remove it. It was over today. Hopefully we'll have a new one soon, though.
Oh yeah, I'm excited.
And if I grow my hair out, it looks like Tears of Fear's 80s bullet. Oh.
When you do half cover, you have a +2 to your AC.
Okay, so you get a +2 now.
So everyone gets a +2 to AC. That's not bad.
I don't know. I think I just say that because we've seen Critical Role, and then like sometimes if like depending on the angle, like they could still, it's like dependent on the angle if they hit or not, regardless of the +2 or whatever. So like sometimes I'm confused.
And plus, you can't really add half cover or anything like that to like a spell DC.
Yeah.
You're still gonna get hit. The last thing you want, that last thing you get as a Psi Warrior is Telekinetic Master. You get that at 18th level. Your ability to move creatures and objects with your mind is matched by few. You can cast telekinesis, requiring no components, and your spellcasting modifier is your intelligence. On each of your turns, while you're concentrating on the spell, including the turn that you cast it, you can then make a melee weapon attack with it as a bonus action. So what's saying is that as you're holding someone midair, instead of spending an action to attack, because you're spending your action to hold, it gives you free attack with your bonus action. So it's like almost like, we get it. You can't attack because you're holding your action to hold the spell. Fine. We're still going to give you an attack. Just that you're using your bonus action now. And that's the telekinetic, that's the Psi Warrior.
That was a long one. He's got a...
It is. He's got
like a page and a half.
2 pages.
Yeah.
Let's talk about a class I don't like.
And it's not like to offend anybody or like to say, oh, like what you like is weird. It's just like, that's our personal thing. Like I like the fighting class, or the fighter class, I should say. Like I respect it. Like they're fucking tanks. I probably won't ever play one though, just because that's not my thing.
I don't like this subclass. I don't like the Aberrant Mind Sorcerer.
You told me why, but I forgot.
Aberrant Mind Sorcerers, they're wannabe warlocks. They're definitely So the idea of a sorcerer is that their magic comes from their blood, from some sort of innate infusion of magic that is...
Oh no, you made Evelina sad.
I like some sorcerers. The Clockwork Sorcerer I didn't like, and then I started to read it, and I was like, I kind of like the Nope Sorcerer. It made me laugh, it made a lot of sense, and I kind of liked it. Aberrant Mind Sorcerer kind of blows, and I'll explain why.
Like just the way they created it, or just your abilities?
Your abilities.
Oh.
They're very blasé, and they don't make a lot of sense when it comes to motif. I'll explain. So your origins, much like a dragonborn sorcerer, your bloodline came from dragons. And that's where you get some of your magic and resistances. This one says that your magic comes from like a far realm being. Or maybe it was a splinter of psionic energy from a mind flare. Essentially, you have some sort of alien influence on you. You're Cthulhu, powered, yes.
I'm gonna call bullshit. Because you like Genasis, and this sounds very much like a Genasi in different clothes. Like, they have, Elemental Storm, or they could have G fucking blood, or whatever the hell it is.
Well, when it comes to race, that's different.
I know, but like it kind of applies in the same way like this. Like circumstances that would not normally fucking happen, happened.
Well, I think the problem is that it's the case of too much information that doesn't add up. When it comes to Genasi, you're infused with some elemental magic, and you have properties of that element. This one is, you're infused with alien goo, and now you have
That doesn't sound good.
special powers that don't add up.
I mean, alien goo doesn't add up, so I mean...
By the way, that is becoming my favorite word is goo, because it's just it's disgusting and it's funny to me.
Like the word moist. No one likes that
Moist.
word. No one likes it.
Alright. At level 1,
Let me hit the mute button.
at level 1, you get some psionic spells. This is probably the only good thing about the class, is the psionic spells. You get some special abilities.
I feel like you're too critical.
Well, let me explain again. I read through this. This is the reason why.
Mm-hmm.
I have my opinion on it already.
The Aberrant Mind Sorcerer makes more sense for a wizard, like he read forbidden text.
Something like that, yeah. Not just that it's in your blood. It's really weird. But so, psionic spells. You get some specialized spells that you can choose from, like Arms of Hadar, and Dissonant Whispers, and Mind Sliver. At level 1. At level 3, you can get Calm Emotions and Detect Thoughts. At level 5, you can get Hunger of Hadar and Sending. At 7th level, you get Avard's Black Tentacles and Summon Abjuration. And at 9th level, you get Raised Telepathic Bond and Telekinesis.
I think if you played this as a Kalishtar, it would work.
Probably.
Because you already have that little person in your head. Like, what if that little person had all this, and then now it's imbued into you?
So, I read a lot of spells here, right?
Yeah. I don't know what the Hadar thing is.
Let's say you don't like these spells.
Oh, you just didn't switch them out?
You can.
Oh, shit.
Yes, this is probably one of the craziest things I actually like about it. Honestly, I wish they had this for all sorcerers.
I don't want that.
It says here, whenever you gain a sorcerer level, you can replace one of your gained spells from this feature, so basically your psionic spells, and you can replace the spell with something from the sorcerer, warlock, or wizard spell list. And when you do choose that new spell, it is now a sorcerer spell, meaning it uses your charisma. So that's pretty good. You can choose a wizard spell.
So you make a spell your own, basically.
You make your spell your own.
I think you did tell me about this.
This is something I wish that all sorcerers had. I wish there was something that they get by default.
I feel like that's pretty much just like, nope, mine now, bitch.
It's funny. I think the reason they do that is because maybe it gives you some leeway saying, well, instead of a Cthulhu monster, what if my aberrant powers come from a mind-flared archfey? Something weird, and you can start saying, well, I grab I forgot the spell name, but like Spike Growth. I grabbed Spike Growth from the wizard, and now it is this really weird, twisted, telepathic growth. And it gives you some leeway of turning your spells into more of your own. But that's where we kind of stop, and it just starts becoming a mishmash of different abilities.
Well, maybe they'll rework it in like a new book.
Maybe. Also at 5th level.
No offense, I feel like half this shit's gonna get reworked in another book.
Maybe.
There's a lot of stuff is just like broken.
Also at 5th level, 1st level, you get telepathic speech. As a bonus action, if you choose one creature within 30 feet of you, you can speak to them telepathically.
That's cool.
In addition, that bond between you and that creature lasts, let's see, I think for a while. Let's see
Probably
here.
like an hour or something.
You and that chosen creature can speak telepathically with each other while the two of you are within the number of miles of each other. So that's pretty cool. I mean, you can talk to each other telepathically.
A number of miles? How many miles?
Equal to your charisma modifier.
Oh, okay. I was like, a number. Okay, what number?
But you're a sorcerer, so your charisma is going to be pretty high. At level 6, you get Psionic Sorcery. When you cast any spell of 1st level higher from your Psionic spells, but then again, you can also replace them.
Is it bad that when I think of sorcerer, I think of Jafar?
That's kind of accurate. Okay. You can cast it by expending a spell slot as normal, or by spending another sorcerer points. So you can save yourself some spell slots.
I honestly don't know what to do for the one shot. I was thinking what is it? A Fathom, whatever.
Oh, Fathomless Warlock?
Yeah, but I don't know. We'll see.
Look it over. We've talked about enough subclasses where you have an idea.
Yeah, I know, but like the problem is pieces are mishmashed in here, and I'm like, what am I pulling from?
So, what does this mean? This means at 6th level, you can now cast a spell within a certain number, because there's only so many psionic spells that you get. And I
could see that.
This just means you get to spend your sorcerer points wisely. It's okay. It's good, but it's not like overwhelming. Psychic defense. You gain resistance to all psychic damage, and you have advantage on saving throws against being frightened or charmed.
Those are always good.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Actually, that's good. At the 14th level, you get something called Revelation in Flesh. This is weird.
It sounds weird.
You can unleash the aberrant truth hidden within yourself.
You know,
That's sentence 1.
you could interpret that in a lot of wrong ways.
It gets weird.
It's all I'm gonna say.
You can spend 1 or more sorcerer points to magically transform your body for 10 minutes. For each sorcerer point you choose, you can add on to these abilities. So let's say you choose 3 sorcerer points, you could choose 3 of these abilities.
That and a spell's name.
Yeah.
That's a recipe for disaster.
All right, you ready for these weird descriptions? And this is another reason why I don't like the class or the subclasses, is because it kind of forces these descriptions. This is what happens to you. You can see invisible creatures within 60 feet of you, provided it isn't behind total cover. Your eyes also turn black and become writhing, sentient tendrils.
Ew. No.
You gain a flying speed equal to your walking speed, and you can hover. As you fly, your skin glistens with mucus or shines with an otherworldly light.
Can I go with otherworldly light?
You gain a swimming speed equal to twice your walking speed. You can breathe underwater. Moreover, gills grow on your neck and fan out between your ears. Your fingers become webbed, or you can grow writhing cilia that extend through your clothing.
It's these little flowy things.
And last but not least, your body can, along with your equipment that you're wearing or carrying, becomes slimy and palpable.
All I got from this is you're
Palatable.
trying to turn into an alien, but you didn't really make it, so now you're a hybrid from a deep sea creature mixed with an alien. That's what I got from this.
You become slimy and palpable. You can move through any space as narrow as an inch without squeezing, and you can spend 5 feet of movement to escape from being grappled.
Palatable. Nothing is about that is palatable.
It would be nice if they just said you had a flying speed, if you had you can now shape yourself through the power of your mind.
I like that. Everybody gangster to the warlock gets all slimy.
Yeah. I don't like it. The fact that they go, this is what happens to you.
It would be better if you could pick your feature. I mean, maybe from a list of features, you could pick one depending on what you roll or what your level is. That would make more sense to me. But you just look fucking ugly as shit the way that sounds. It just looks like your party's gonna be walking around. It's like, hold up, guys, and then they.
Yeah.
I mean, I play a druid, so there's a lot of weird shit I can turn into. But I don't know, tendrils for eyes. I don't like it. I've done a lot of weird shit, but that just don't sound good.
Why does your body need to glisten with mucus so that you can fly?
Yeah. I'm assuming you're gonna be able to fly, slip through cracks. I don't understand the eyes that are tentacles now.
That's why this is one of the, so I start hating the class at this point. And last but not least, you get warping implosion. You can unleash your aberrant power as a space warping anomaly. As an action, you can teleport to an unoccupied space you can see within 120 feet of you immediately after you disappear. So basically, you disappear and you can go 120 feet. But that space that you left, an effect happens. Each creature within a 30-foot radius of when you left has to make a strength saving throw. If they fail, they take 3d10 force damage and are pulled inward.
I mean, that's
it.
That's cool, I guess.
3d10?
Hey, 3 to 10 can do that.
You're 18th level.
Oh.
That is at level 18. You're doing more damage on the spells that you're throwing.
Yeah, that's true.
And cool, you get to teleport. Cool, you get to do some damage.
You only get to teleport over 120 feet, though.
Oh, by the way, if they save, they do take half damage, but they don't get pulled in. Why are they getting pulled in again?
Spooky. Yes.
Because you become like a black hole? Like the thing you left is now a black hole that sucks them in? Why doesn't it do that? It should really lean really heavy into this space motif that you're an alien and say that you get sucked into this black hole and that's where you get the damage. Instead of just going, you got damage and now you're being pulled in. It should be, you get pulled in and they have to claw their way out.
I don't know. I don't know who made that one, but you gotta take it up with them.
I don't like this one. Guys, we have one more class in Tasha's.
Oh, we're not doing that though. Today, right? Are we?
No, we already covered the one I was thinking about.
I thought you said you made 2 characters.
I did.
Oh.
We haven't looked at the other one. Let me find it. So yes, I don't like...
This
No.
sounds like they might as well have not included that damage aspect at all.
If they really wanted to make you an alien, they should have really just leaned heavy on alien. You know, maybe you have dark vision constantly because you're so used to the depths of space. Maybe you do have resistance to like psychic damage, but now you also have resistance to cold damage because, you know, you're used to the cold vacuum of space. Maybe you can pull people in and putting them down with the gravity or something. Really get heavy with the space ability. But no.
Hey man, that's the first round. Hopefully the second round will be better.
I don't like it. I think it's stupid.
Hey, I don't like what they did to my class, my subclass. A Unity cleric. Now it's the Peace cleric.
Yeah, the Peace cleric is... Well, I mean, I guess...
It's not stupid, but I just don't like how that one drastically changed.
Not
Because like...
necessarily. It's just that... Well, they kind of did. You're right.
I mean, some things, yeah, are the same, like the names, but it's different.
Yeah! You can definitely make, like, Captain Falcon creatures.
A flurkin.
A flurkin.
I don't know where my cat is.
Okay. Here, let me introduce you to Alwyn.
Is he a furball?
He is a furball. I haven't made one yet.
I thought about it.
This is Alwyn. He is a ranger of the Fey Wanderer subclass. Alwyn was a happy child.
Was a happy child.
Well, he's older now.
We were all happy children once.
Big family, plenty of friends, and even a best friend. A human boy who liked the same things he did. They were nearly inseparable. As they grew, things about his friend became more and more odd. Flowers changed colors around him sometimes, and at twilight, the light around him seemed to be brighter. When Alwyn became of age, his friend revealed to him that he wasn't fully truthful. In reality, he was a powerful archfey who took a liking to Alwyn's kind nature and saw greatness in him. He gave him a gift and kissed him on the forehead.
Like Artigan.
Sadly, though, he had to go home. He was homesick. Though Alwyn was sad that he had to say goodbye to his most treasured friend, he treasured the gift and became even more skilled. And as he became more skilled in the nearby forest, tracking, hunting, he made use of the gift every day.
I should say Artigan. I don't know how people say the name. Artie.
Just because he's an archfey doesn't mean it's Artagan.
I know, but I'm just saying it's similar.
I suppose. I kind of already hinted that there's a bit of a homosexual liking to both of them.
I didn't get that, but okay.
Yeah. Or at least that's the way I envisioned the character. That he was gay, and that was cool. I've already made gay characters, so.
You made it characters.
I made what? I did make it characters. I did. I still like.
I say it because it was neither this way or that.
Yes. I love Iggy. Iggy's still my favorite. So.
Again, not to get on any weird subject, but I still feel like it's always amazing to me that is just so cool in D&D, but in real life, you know.
I love it.
But I'm gonna get into it.
So, what is a Fey Wanderer ranger? Well, essentially, they've been touched by the Feywild, given some sort of ability or some sort of blessing. In this case, I gave Alwyn a bit of an Archfey's kiss. And they get a few abilities. At third level, what's wrong with me?
I don't know, man. It's a long week. I can't say words today either.
At third level, they get Dreadful Strikes. You can augment your weapon strikes with mind-scarring magic, drawn from the glooming hollows the Feywild. When you hit a creature with a weapon, you can deal an extra 1d4 psychic damage, and that extra damage increases to 1d6 when you reach level 11.
Level 11.
Level 11. At also 3rd level, you get Fey Wanderer Magic. 3rd level, Charm Person. 5th level, Misty Step. 9th level, Dispel Magic.
So what stat would you recommend to I guess, be your best self?
Rangers are weird. They definitely get some... It depends on what type of ranger you want to be.
Well, I mean for this.
Oh, I would put stats into your dexterity and then your wisdom. Definitely.
It sounds like they're kind of charismatic too, though.
13th level, Dimension Door. And 17th level, Mislead.
I don't think I'm familiar with that.
You also possess pre-natural blessings from your Fey ally or place or wherever you got your powers. You can also choose a blessing, which includes illusionary butterflies flutter around you while you take a short rest or a long rest. Fresh seasonal flowers sprout from your hair each dawn. You faintly smell of cinnamon, lavender, nutmeg, or any other comforting herb or spice. Your shadow dances while no one is looking directly at it. Horns or antlers sprout from your head. Or your skin and hair change color to match the season at each dawn. So,
it's a mix of Kara and
a little bit of an Eldarin influence in there, but
it's a mix of a druid and a Eldarin.
But you're definitely Fey touched.
Yeah.
And are you okay?
Yeah. I'm cold.
No, you're moving your legs crazy.
I know.
Um,
For once, I'm the one doing it, and not you.
It's true. You also get another ability at level 3 called Otherworldly Glamour. Your Fey qualities give you supernatural charm. As a result, whenever you make a charisma check, you gain a bonus to that check equal to your wisdom modifier. In addition, you gain proficiency in one of the following skills: Deception, Performance, Persuasion. You get some abilities. You're becoming a bit of a skill monkey at this point.
Kind of charmer.
At 7th level, wow, jumping a little too ahead here. 7th level, you get Beguiling Twist. The magic of the Feywild guards your mind, and you have advantage on saving throws against being charmed or frightened. You're kind of turning into an elf, a little bit. In addition, when you or a creature you can see within 120 feet of you succeeds on a saving throw of being charmed or frightened, you can use your reaction to force a different creature you can see within that 120 feet to make a wisdom saving throw against your spell DC. If they fail, they become charmed or frightened of you for 1 minute. So it's almost like you're taking someone's magic, you're going, no. Now it's your turn. So it's the essential...
I feel like that was more like, Jinx, you
No, you know that meme?
You have it now.
You know that meme where like someone brings up the Uno card of like reverse? It's that. You're just, no, you. Which also is a little bit of an influence, or at least it kind of reminds me of an Archfey Warlock, because they get that ability too. At 11th level, you get Fey reinforcements. The royal courts of the Feywild have blessed you. With the assistance of Fey beings, summon Fey, and it doesn't count against the number of ranger spells and you can cast it without any material components. You can also cast it once without a spell slot, and you'll gain that ability at a long rest. So you can cast it for free once per day. And Summon Fey is also a new spell that is that came out with Tasha's, yeah. Misty Wanderer, which is at 15th level, and this is the last ability you get. You can slip in and out of the Feywild to move in a blink of an eye. You can cast Misty Step without expending a spell slot, and you can do so a number of times equal to your Wisdom modifier. In addition, whenever you cast Misty Step, you can bring one willing creature you can see within 5 feet of you The creature teleports to an unoccupied space within 5 feet of you when you re-emerge. So you go, come here!
Yep.
Type of thing.
Give somebody whiplash.
It's a little Eldrin, isn't it? Very much Eldrin.
Yeah, but that's just race. That's not class.
Yeah. Well, you get it. Yeah, you're pretty much imbued with it, or at least your character is, because blood.
Yeah.
And that's it, guys.
She's dramatic enough.
We have covered every subclass from Tasha's Cauldron of Everything.
Oh, we had one more. That was it?
Nope, that's it.
Oh.
Hmm.
Idea.
Theo's been hanging out warm, snug for a while now. I'm looking at Blondie Biggie Key's response where she says, surprise! Once again, thank you to any Roby fans who are sticking with us today, who are maybe lurking in chat.
It is.
Greatly appreciate it.
It's.
Roby's a great person. He really is. And
It's 192 pages.
it is. We haven't gone through it all.
It's skinny.
It is relatively skinny. It's a pretty small book for everything, yeah.
I mean, it fit in a lot. I think it fit in a lot.
Well, if we're just going to count the subclasses, we technically read...
Like half the book, excuse me.
We technically read about 78 pages
Oh.
in 5 episodes. Not too bad. And we also created a character, at least 2 minimum, for some of these subclasses too.
Yeah, I think the first episode we had 3 because it was mine. I can't pump out characters as fast as Mike can. I mean, like, I have to have a concept and then I work around the concept. So that's why I made her a fire genasi monk, and then it was, what was the subclass? I already forgot.
Oh, you made a fire genasi monk, and the subclass you picked was the Hand of Mercy,
Oh yeah.
which was a bit of a healing class, in addition to doing necrotic damage on your enemies. You had a choice. Either you're harmed or healed. Which is pretty interesting. There's some, of course, feats that come with Tasha's that are pretty interesting. One that is pretty relevant that I don't want to go through all the feats. Maybe that'll be the next episode of Books and Brew. We'll start going over some feats. That'd be fun. I'm really liking the idea of a fire genasi artificer. I am
Not
too.
artificer, artillerator. I can't tell what you were trying to type.
An artillerist. Either you meant artificer or artillerist.
Oh yeah, you could like forge stuff with heat.
Exactly. Yeah. Fire is a very interesting concept when it comes to D&D, especially if you're imbued with that magic.
I think it's because it's like dual, so it's like it can give life, it can take away life. Like it just depends how you want to use it.
I like genasis in general. Genasis are probably my favorite classes, or races. Sorry. My first character was a human, Quim. I started making a bunch of characters, but the character that I actually settled on and I really liked
That he actually played as.
was Bolide, who was a water genasi. And I liked him. And then I made a really interesting cleric who was an earth genasi who used healing crystals that grew out of his skin, which I thought was really, really fun because it's taking a real world
Item.
It's not really real. You don't heal with healing crystals. But the concept is interesting. And taking this sort of pseudoscience ability and turning it actually to an actual use of arcane magic is cool. And also, when I was looking up Earth Genasis who had like these crystal growths, that's the same idea I got for Arcane Focus. So you can snap this crystal off your cheek and use it as an Arcane Focus.
I wish.
Yeah.
I don't really want crystals growing on my neck, but you know, that would hurt.
I also had an option for, why did you say you disliked the Armorer? I didn't actually get into detail why. Mainly because a lot of and I get the appeal.
He didn't hate it as much as the Aberrant Sorcerer.
Yeah. It's not that I
Yes.
disliked it, it's that I liked it the least amount of all of the artificers. The reason I didn't like it the best is that a lot of your abilities and features come from your armor. Obviously, you're an armored sorcerer. I mean, armored artificer. It's kind of playing in with it. I think it's because it's a one-trick pony. There's not a lot of variancy that you can build. I like taking a subclass and then twisting, making it my own. A good example is the spores, Circle of the Spores druid, where I was like, well, you know, this doesn't actually have to be spores. It could be a symbiotic entity like Venom. You know, I like taking a subclass and going, that's really cool. It could be reflavored into something else. Armor, it's got to be your armor. That's all it's got to be. It can't be anything else. I never actually ended up playing, but I had a giant named Butterball. It was back in high school around 2003.
That's funny.
Back when we lived in our old apartment, remember there was like one time I tried to do a Discord random party D&D thing. That was when we actually had like our landlord come in and she was working on things. I was being interrupted and I was like, this is not gonna work. But during that time, I made a Goliath barbarian whose name was Dom, D-O-M. And he was dumb. He had a very low intelligence. However, he really wanted to be a wizard.
Oh, I think I remember.
So here, my name's Dom. I'm the wizard. And they'd be like,
Didn't he have a little tiny hat?
he had a little tiny hat, little purple,
tiny wizard hat.
little tiny purple wizard hat. He had a little tiny wizard purple cloak, and he'd wear it around and he'd be like, I'm the wizard. And it's like, really? And he's like, yes, I'm the wizard. And it's like, well, show us a spell. And he'd be like, okay. And he would grab into his cloak and he'd pull like an ink flask, and he'd go, I cast ink, blindness. And he'd throw ink at you and gets in your face, and you'd be blinded for a bit, and you'd be like, I'm a great wizard. And what he would do is that he had a club, he had a giant club, and he stuck an actual wizard wand in there. He shoved it in there, like, because it's a little tiny thing, and he shoved it in there and he goes, this is my wand now. And I really liked him because he was really dumb, but he was like, I want to be a wizard. It's like, well, how could you be, you're really, I don't know if you can study. He goes, I'll get there.
Yeah, this is also like, what, 6 years ago?
Yeah. Now barbarians can be wizards with that new subclass. Yeah, they can be, animorphs. They can be like wild. What is it called? They have like a wild thing now. Yeah. Everyone thinks they're all good until they're like, haha, I'm 30 feet away from you, barbarian. What are you gonna do? I cast magic missile. You do what now? Yeah, magic missile. And then you throw multiple rocks at you. I made him so that he wasn't stupid, but he would definitely go.
He wasn't the brightest in the bunch.
He wasn't brightest, but he would go, well, if I want to cast fire, how do I cast fire? I haven't learned that yet, but as a substitute, I'll get some oil and a match and there you go. Light you on fire. I like Dom. Dom was funny. But I couldn't be in that game. I couldn't.
Yeah.
Speaking from experience for someone who wants to be in a D&D game, and if you guys are in the same boat and you're like, well, I have no one to play with, maybe I'll go to Discord. It took me a while to finally find a group that I liked and that you're now part of.
Yeah.
It's really hard to find a group that you can work with, who wants to play the game.
Not the brightest, but he was a true star of the group.
Yeah. Like, I think the only encounter I remember that he had was that he was a Goliath, meaning that he had, I think, resistance to cold damage, because Goliaths naturally are resistant to cold because they live in the mountains. And the party was walking past a frozen lake. And I asked the DM, I was like, well, my guy's a Goliath. Would he get hurt by the cold? And he goes, you have resistance? And I go, yeah. And he goes, no, you would be fine. You would step in and be like, oh, it's cold, but that's fine. And so my character went up and was like, all right, I cast cold resistance.
Oh god.
And then he'd walk in there and be like, I'm doing fine, guys. My professor tried helping me get into D&D and the local comic shop, but I stopped going because I was getting too anxious.
Aww.
Mm.
Yeah, no, like, if Nick's watching or anybody else that plays with us in another campaign, it depends on the group you're playing with. And I know I'm very, I think, monotone as Vera, but that's on purpose right now. But I told Mike, like, I feel more comfortable actually role-playing with our group versus our other group that we've been in a long time, just because it's not that I'm not role-playing, but it's very much like, okay, what would she do? Like, it's gotten a little better since I first started, but like I felt more comfortable with this group. Like Steve and Temple have seen me mad and sad in real life, so like I can emit those emotions or that type of attitude as this character, because like I know they're aware that it's a character.
I think it's also the precedent that a DM gives you. Me and Nick have completely different ways of DMing, and I adjusted to his game, and I like the way he plays his game, and I felt like he's adjusted to my game when he was a guest player, and he enjoyed his time with us, which is really nice to hear. My DM going to my game and going, you DM well, so that was really nice to hear.
I mean, truth be told, Avelina, I bet you, like, honestly, half those people are just as fucking nervous as you are, trying to be like, what do I do now? Where's my shit? What do I do? Like, what do I say? Like, I think that's like a duality to D&D, because it's like, not only are you this person, but you also got to memorize this person's shit. So it's like, wait, what do I do there? I didn't know I had that.
I think
like,
yeah. I would definitely love to do a community DM game. Like, I would DM for you guys, like maybe a one-shot sometime in the future. But that's something I definitely have to build towards.
Yeah.
I want enough people where, because there is a big crux, a very well-known issue when it comes to D&D is, oh, I'm sorry, I know we planned on something, but I can't do it today.
Yeah.
It's happened before, and we definitely had people like one of our great friends and who were going to be a part of a one-shot that I write, and they go, sorry, can't.
Life happens though, so
Life happens.
What are you gonna do?
Life happens, but it's one of those things where it happens to multiple people, and that's why there's a stigma about it. So I want to build a rapport with you guys enough where you feel like, okay, I can make I can
Make a commitment.
Chunk out a few, an hour or two about this, and then I'll build something for you guys. I'd like to have that.
I mean, I never thought I was gonna fucking cry on camera, you ass. Like, I knew it was coming. I built like this sad ass character, and I knew that Mike was gonna use that and bend it to his whim because he knows me so well. And I was just like, this is gonna suck. And I like told him, I was like, I don't even know why I'm crying. I guess because I feel empathy for this person that obviously like it's not happening to me, but like I could relate to like a sad moment in my life, or if that were to happen to me, that would make me like feel a certain way. So you're just like, oh fuck. But yeah.
The speech that Mary told you, Mary came,
Yeah.
where she said that she called you a daughter.
That made you cry. I didn't know you were crying.
When I was writing that late at night, I actually started to cry because I was like, what would be the sweetest thing? Because you have to put yourself in that
position.
In that person's shoes, because you're like, this person's hurting, this person's not feeling good, and one of their loved ones, who's not actually one of their immediate family, tells them, I love you like a daughter. And I go, that is so sweet and touching. And it touched me, and I was like, I literally started to tear up, and I was like, that's the sweetest thing I can ever write to make someone feel good. And I started to
or sad.
Or sad. Well, it was to make you feel good. It's a happy sad.
Yeah.
And I started to write it, and I was like, this got me. This got me. And I can't wait to tell you this.
I think it's just, and it's funny because you were like, oh, is like Uthiel, you know, Vera's love interest or Vera's used to be fiance based off of you, and I'm like, no, it's not based off of you. But like, I could relate, like in the event that that would happen, I like would not know what to do. So.
Who is that?
I don't know, I can't see.
Man, I'm sorry, man. I can't really see your name. It's like blue, bright blue. But yeah, it's one of those things where you have to really get into the mindset of your...
No, not like that.
Oh, we ran out of brew, unfortunately.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's down there.
We finished our kombucha, and we do have a...
Lemonade.
That's about it.
Eh.
Oh boy. But thank you so much, Siege. Appreciate it. Let me see. I'm gonna bring up the channel on my phone. There we go. But where was I? What was I thinking about right now?
Empathy.
I suppose. Wait, what's with the black cap at girl? Do you mean what's with the black cat?
I have two, man. Don't have stigma against black kids.
He's enjoying himself. He always knows when we're streaming. No hairs? No, he's got hair. He's a good buddy.
He's got too much hair. They're everywhere.
Yeah. The one shot. I'm excited for the one shot. Yeah, so a reminder for those who maybe just are joining us right now, we run a game every Saturday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So we are going to run our session 11 tomorrow. Let's see here.
I don't think we're gonna have,
There we go.
what do you call it? Another guest for a while, though.
No,
They're coming. They're coming up.
I wonder if you can make artificers like the guys in Name of the Wind. They use sympathy magic. Did I say that right?
Yeah. I wonder if you can make an artificers like the guys in the Name of the Wind that use sympathy
Name of the Wind.
magic.
I'm not familiar with that.
You can add it in the Discord, though.
Name of the Wind.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Oh, it's a book.
I also wear black all the time, so it doesn't help that this guy blends in. He's there. You can see his poofy head. There's another one around here somewhere.
I am not familiar with this book series.
Sounds
Oops.
sad.
Sorry. But, yeah. I mean, Artificers, the way that it really works is you, and I've said this before, you're a crafter, you're a creator, you're someone who takes raw materials or a raw idea and you make something grand. You know, whether that means you're a painter, kind of rubbing a little bit into the bard territory, but you make something, you craft something. And that's the idea of an artificer, is that you're a maker. So if this Name of the Wind person who uses this type of magic can take a raw material and craft something physical, then that is something you can definitely flavor into.
I don't know why my brain went to like a dark place when you were talking about bards and crafting. I was like, what if you were like... Doesn't say it sound fucked up.
I don't know, I don't like this.
Like, what if you were like a bard that murdered people and your tools to create things were like...
Well, like a serial killer type
Yeah,
thing.
like we're like for a Halloween thing or whatever, but like your tools were blood and hair and stuff you got from people to make other stuff.
So we already know this. I think you just
I
forgot
love
it.
Halloween and I love horror, so I mean, my mind's already morbid. I laugh at stuff I shouldn't. But
I think you may have forgot it, but do you remember Harmon's Quest?
yeah.
Do you remember the barbarian girl?
Uh-huh.
How she would always take the bones of her enemies and she would make it little statues?
I don't remember her making little statues.
She would always get the bones and she would make these little things. She put bones in her hair. You can definitely flavor an artificer who, kills someone and then starts taking maybe like their muscles and their blood and they start to craft things out of it. Maybe that's what your alchemist is that you start to mix together certain blood and like shavings of bone and you start to just create something like a potion. You can definitely do that. It's definitely an evil character. It's 100% an evil thing to do. But hey, that's what D&D is that you can take this idea and you can take a class and you can sandwich that stuff.
Well, I was like thinking, adding more to that aspect. I'm like, what if you do it for like a king? Like, bring me your enemies and I'll make them into something for you.
Oh.
Like,
yeah.
Again, my mind's trailing, but that's just like an interesting concept. Like, what if you're like you yourself are probably not evil. You're probably a little disturbed, but like you don't like rightfully seek out these things. But like this is your job because whoever's in power is like, this is what you're good at. This is what your source is. Deal with it.
I think that'd be a great idea for a battle master artificer. Because instead of a steel defender, I definitely would allow it that your flesh defender is made out of the flesh and bones and remains of your kings. Because you've asked the king, give me your enemies, and I'll make something better.
Yeah.
And you've taken these pieces. You're almost Frankensteining.
Yeah.
You make a Frankenstein of a monster out of the remains of your enemies, or at least the king's enemies in this scenario that you painted.
Sympathy in the Name of the Wind is like a cool mixture of psychics and magic.
Physics.
Oh, I don't know. I read psychics. My bad.
Physics and magic. That's
special today.
That's a little different because that sounds like you're using raw energy and raw magic and creating something. That would probably be more of a wizard or a bard because an artificer takes physical objects and physical material and makes something. It sounds like almost like you're weaving magic, or at least the Symphony of the Wind, how it sounds, and you're using it to your whim. So that sounds more of a bard where you're weaving words and weaving art and weaving like acting and everything else, and you're turning it into a magic energy. And you're casting Disguise Self by the use of your hand movements or something.
Cat looked up at you like, what?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Doesn't know. But I think that's my rant. I think I've ran out of things to say for tonight because I want to save my voice for tomorrow.
Still using objects, actually. Oh. Okay.
Oh well, then maybe that is a point in the artificer column. Artificers are fun. I really do like them because you also get some free magical items. You can get a bag. Start waving a bit of your like these metal shavings, and all of a sudden you have a bag of holding. It's fun. It's interesting. It gives you options to play around with. That's the best thing about subclasses and classes is that if you can shape them to your whim, which is another reason why I don't like the aberrant mind sorcerer. Don't like it. It's stupid. I don't
understand.
I don't want to be a mucus flyer. Is that what it meant? Is that you're like, is it Spider-Man type of thing, like a mucus thing?
No, don't shame Spider-Man like that.
Is that what it is? That's stupid. All right, guys. Well, we're gonna call it a night.
Again, thank you to Roby Tech and Roby and Blondie Bakiki. I always just call her Blondie for the raid earlier. Thank you for all our followers, bits, likes, shares, whatever, whatever love you shared with us tonight, we greatly appreciate it. Again, our session 11 will be on tomorrow of Magic at Mosted at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Yeah, and once again, I'm very grateful for you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out.
And the giveaway is over, so Mike has chosen 2 winners. As long as they, contact us back to confirm all their info, those will be the winners. If not, then we'll probably have to re-announce 1 or 2, depending on that outcome
Yeah.
next week.
Regardless, we will. We are working on a lot more things in the future, including new merch, and we're hoping to ramp up our social game as well. But regardless, thank you guys for hanging out. See you tomorrow.
Bye.